How's it going, everyone? This is Israel, your loan officer down here in Southern California, and welcome to Israel's Info. Today, we're going to be talking about what makes a credit score and, most importantly, a hack that we can implement that will raise your credit score. But before we venture on, I wanted to share with you guys the following analogy that might drive the point of this video better. We've all had a delicious cake, and even though some of us might not be professional bakers, we do know that basic ingredients are involved, such as eggs, flours, milk, butter, and sugar. And if at any given point we are missing one of the ingredients or don't have the correct quantity, our cake might not be as tasty. Well, think of your credit score as a set of ingredients, and if we're able to have just the right quantities, we can all enjoy delicious cake or credit score. So here are the main factors that go into your credit score. 35, your credit score is your payment history. 30% has to do with your credit utilization. 15% is the age of your credit. Now, 10% depends on the type of credit you use, and lastly, 10% of your credit score is your request for new credit. So now we're going to dive in deeper into each one of these factors. Factor number 1, consider this. If you were lending your own money to a friend, not only would you expect them to pay you back on time, but you would wonder if they paid their own debt on time. Well, the same logic applies with lenders or creditors wanting to know whether you've paid your account on time. And just by having a healthy payment history, that alone is the single biggest thing that goes into your credit score, making it a whopping 35% of the overall credit. What this means is that if you make your payments on time, you will see a major increase on your credit scores right off the bat. Factor number 2, the second biggest factor to your credit score is your credit utilization. That makes about a 30% of your credits. Let me explain this credit utilization and how it works, as this alone can have the most positive impact on your credit scores, and it will play a big role later in this video. First off, to calculate your credit utilization, here's the formula you'll need. You can always pause the video and take a screenshot. Take how much you owe on a specific credit card and divide it by the credit limit, and this will give you your credit utilization ratio. So let's say you have a $1,000 credit limit. If you spend $600 on that card, then 60% would be considered your credit utilization, right? 600 divided by 1,000 is 60%. Now, as you can see on the chart, there is a wide range of different ratios and the impact they have on your credit score. So whoever your credit card company is, even though they've assigned you a certain credit limit, they like it when you don't utilize too much of that credit. So here's the thing, to improve your credit score dramatically, you actually want to get your credit card utilization ratio between 0 to 9%, as those are considered excellent ratios. Even 10 to 29% is still good. The key takeaway here is to try to keep your credit card utilization balances below the magic number, this being 29% or less. Factor number 3, 50% of your credit score is your credit age. In general, a longer credit history will increase your credit scores. However, even people with new credit can have pretty high credit scores. It all depends on how the rest of their credit looks like. What credit cards want to see is that you're using cards long term. The longer you show them how responsible you are, the better you position yourself, and your credit scores will thank you for that. Factor number 4, 10% of your credit score is the type of credit that you use. So this 10% of your credit score will consider a mix of credit cards, retail accounts, installment loans, and mortgage loans. Don't worry, it's not necessary to have one of each. They actually want you to have loans because it shows that you can use them responsibly. And lastly, we have factor number 5, as 10% of your credit score is your request for new credit. Roughly about 10% of your credit score is made up of your credit inquiries. This means that when you apply for a credit card, you can expect that your score may go down temporarily about 2 points or so. Now, in the world of mortgages, there is this misconception that if I let another bank or lender pull my credit report, again, this can hurt my credit scores. And there is some truth to that, but not entirely so. You see, most banks are aware that you might be shopping around for the best rate or program that might be available for you. And so when they see different credit inquiries on your credit report, they don't frown upon it as much. Now, on the same token, if they see that you pull your credit month after month, they might question why it is. Did you maybe not qualify back then for whatever reason? Again, a simple letter of explanation will suffice, but they will inquire. I'm going to show you the following technique you can implement that will dramatically increase your credit scores. And the good news is that you're already doing it, but not applying it the right way. And it has to do with the importance of factor number 2, this being credit utilization and how it affects your credit overall. As you're aware, the credit card companies report your credit utilization to the 3 credit bureaus. every single month. Now, by doing the following, you can totally use their own rules in your favor. The key is to focus on the timing. We all know there's a due date in our billing statement, but there is another date we seldom look at or pay any attention to. It is called your closing date. Now, as an example, let's take a look at this billing statement. As you can see, it shows our payment due date as well as a closing date. And this closing date will play a key factor when applying this technique. Again, every one of your billing statements will show a different due date and closing date. Just remember that. Now, what you want to do is pay your credit card bill in full before the closing date. I repeat, before the closing date as opposed to your due date. But why would I do that? Because you want your credit utilization ratios to be as low as possible, as we already know that the lower they are, the better your credit scores will be. So for example, if your credit card closing date falls on the 19th, then your credit card company will report to the 3 credit bureaus the balance that you owe them on that date. This means that even if you pay your credit card bill in full by the due date, in this case the 23rd, well, guess what? Your credit utilization will still show a high utilization ratio for the simple fact that your credit company already reported to the 3 bureaus what you owe them back on your closing date. So the trick is to pay your balance off in full 2 to 3 days before the credit card statement closing date. That way, when your balance does get reported to the 3 credit bureaus, your credit utilization ratio will show a nice ratio of 0%. And I understand that not everyone can pay their credit card bill in full every month, but try to focus on paying down as much as you can. But make sure to make it before your statement closing date. That's the key. And just by using this technique, you'll see an increase in your credit scores right away. Thank you so much for watching. Hope that you learned something from this video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to place them down below, or you can always give me a call at 661-388-7667. And for those thinking about refinancing or buying, the same number applies. And lastly, for our homeowners thinking about putting your house on the market, we got a great top-notch team of professional realtors ready to answer all your questions. Thank you for watching. May God bless you. May God bless our nation. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.